Aurelus. What is it? What is Aurelus? Did you know that unlike the original game, we have 7 factions instead of 6? Why is that? What is Aurelus? It's gold. Supposedly. That's what they want you to think. But really, have you taken a good look at an Aurelus Bakugan lately? Like a good look. It's copper. It's bronze. It's third. It's not even worth the diamond status. Get out of here. Dumb Garbo Bakugan, don't impress me. But, on the other hand, they have some of the best traits of any Bakugan out there. And Age of Aurelus did give them laughably 6 cards, action cards at least, kind of defeating the purpose of what they're about, being above average Bakugan, but with little card pool, so you're sacrificing having an additional faction for something that may pack more oomph. But the fact of the matter is, Aquos, Cubbo, and Abilius are kind of right there. So, other factions are catching up to Aurelus, so why use it? I'm going to say it's due to 3 Bakugan. 3 Bakugan that have been notorious for being good Aurelus Bakugan. Let's start with ATDU, Aurelus Titan Dragonoid Ultra. And we're going to be referring to the Evos of these cards because, similar to Aurelus Fashion, the faction's fashion, it is about the Evos. Evos are all they've had for the longest time now, and Evos are, quite frankly, what make them sort of busted. So we're going to start with ATDU. Not a lot of him nowadays, but we're going to talk about what made him broken. So his ability is he is every faction. So at the time of his release, all we had were outsiders, the freebie ones, which even then still were like, if you're not this one, don't take the damage. But he was everything, so none of those applied. He would just cut right through them. His 12 damage was coming out whether you liked it or not. And the only things that could combat it at the time were the specific ones that cost 0, but they were so situational, no normal-brained person, or even big-brained people, for that matter, were going to run it. Because what faction was truly just everywhere? Like, there was the non-Ventus, that's the, not a good example, but there was the non-Pyrus, non-Darkus, the 0 costs that were running around in BB. And then another one that I thought was pretty good was the core stops. Like Confuse or Sonic Shield or blah blah blah. But the thing about that also when it concerned ATDU is he never seemed to want to hold on to a core. So those were left renderless as well. So up until AA, there was really no answer for ATDU. And even a little bit of BR, he was becoming less and less threatening towards the end of it. Why is that? Because 1212 is nothing to laugh at, if I'm quoting the B power correctly. He's still a solid Bakugan, but the fact of the matter is, not being able to land on a core is a huge detriment. Not that his ability depended on him landing on a core, like ATHU or Nilius, but it still is bad because he had a magic shield on his card. Like, he comes with a magic shield, yet he's not able to use it himself. What kind of stuff is that? That's crazy. So 1200 gets snuffed out by a lot of things now. It gets snuffed out by Cubbo, Nobilius, and I'm going to lose my mind how often I need to say those 2 names nowadays, but it's true. They show up and they kick some major tush. And quite frankly, 1200 doesn't cut it anymore. Like, you need to buff that beefcake up as soon as you get him out. Like, unlike ATHU, which I'll get into later, even though I mentioned them already, and Nilius, you can pay that 4 that it costs to evolve them, and still possibly win that turn just because the advantage that they get from landing on their cores is monstrous. It's crazy. ATDU doesn't have that luxury. All of his power went into his ability. Not even his power, you know? His B power, speaking. So, and then as we're getting more and more better flips, like the Aurelus, Stop Aurelus ones that we're getting in the newer packs, he's just like hidden treasure is seen pretty much everywhere. Just because Power Creep Boys and Aurelus Trox, which I'll get into later, are everywhere right now. So stopping Aurelus Bakugan is actually a good call right now. So that just makes ATDU even worse. It sucks to see, man, because I wanted to make Mono Darkus so bad, and that utilized him just to be an additional Darkus, so that Rite of Darkness could do 3 discards. Like it was, and then C, like, lets you draw 3 cards because your opponent would have been taking that 12 damage because flip cards are virtually ineffective against him, or ineffective. It's just sad to see that that old giant, the guy that used to just be, oh crap, what answers do I have for this, is just kind of fading into obscurity. And I think we have this guy to blame. Aurelus Titan Dragonoid Ultra. He is the best boy. Undisputed GOAT right now. He even gets 100 above HTM. That's a problem. But it gets better. He's naturally 1450 on a 250 plus 3 Fire Fist. So that's pretty good. And then he's even 12. He matches ATDU with the 1200 B power on a plus 6 damage sheet of Fire Fist. He doesn't even need to try, and he's already at ATDU's level. Like, what sense does that make? The mighty have fallen. And not to mention, Hydronoid's bringing that entourage with him. The Power Creep Boys, they're the whole ensemble, and even if not, like, if you're running an Aurelus Bakugan, and you have at least 1 Fire Fist in your deck, which is a high possibility nowadays, you better put him in there. Because there's no reason not to. He is such a big power move turn 1. Even he can facilitate your team attack just because his natural advantage is so devastating that you would have to put in minimal cards to make him higher than your opponent. It's ridiculous. And then not to mention his Evo gets him up to 2450. Same cost as ATDU. The only difference is you can stop him with any flip, but, you know, he's only boasting about 8 damage with that Evo anyway. Like, you're mainly using him to just pressure your opponent and constantly just hit him. So it's, you know, Aurelus is kind of crazy. And he's the best boy. The third Aurelus Bakugan would have to be Aurelus Trox. Because he's a 2-cost Evo, which on its own is pretty much a telltale sign that he's going to be good. And he's beyond good. He's terrifying. Not by himself, but with what deck accompanies him, with the release of AA, or Age of Aurelus, does what ATDU wishes it could do. What it tried to accomplish in BR, Hypertrox just does better. As long as you're using the deck with it. ATDU was a little bit more splashable, but Hypertrox, if you build its deck, it makes ATDU look like a base form, dude. It sucks. So, Hypertrox, what you do is you just spam a bunch of rerolls. making him boost himself up, because every time you activate a card on him, he gains damage, he gains B power, getting to an absurd amount to where your opponent cannot catch up. And then you're using constant, energized cards too, like Song of Fire, just to keep going. And then when you think that they will die, and they will, you activate Clone Army to make it so you have Frost Strike for every card you activated. So, just like ATDU, it gained an immunity to flips. But unlike ATDU, it is literally an immunity to all flips. And the thing about Aurelus Trox as well is the Evo has natural Shadow Strike. So there's no escaping by lowering his damage, lowering his B power, just desperately trying to get over it by any means. You just die. You just die. Like, why even run ATDU? With the card pool that Aurelus brings, haha, just replace him with Cubbo, which on its own is bigger than him. Just replace him with Nobilius. Same deal. Just play something else. Even Darkus Hydorus Ultra. You have Pact of Darkness now. You can literally play anything else than ATDU. It's not fair. I finally got one. And I have the Evos coming in the mail. And he's bad. He's not good. So, I think this is going to be the last time I touch on Aurelus Bakugan, because this may be breaking the fourth wall a little bit, but I've recorded 2 videos where I explain what the Aurelus Trox deck does. In 2 videos. So, I think I'm going to be done with them. I don't want to talk about them anymore, especially ATDU, because it makes me sad. Those are just my somber thoughts about a dying era. Don't forget to press F in the chat if you miss ATDU, or feel free to put in the comment section, good, I'm glad he's dead. 2 sides of the same coin, I imagine. And, I'm gonna go cry a little bit, I think. I feel something coming up. Goodbye.